Well, we could be saying anything right now. Hello, people. Follow
Can you hear us now?
Excellent. Right. Well, so Vegas, of course, like you say, we had a wild card, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, by the way. We had a wild card last week. We had 50-50 wings, highest downforce possible. It was quite interesting, actually. Dynamic developing, basically, where people sort of deliberately gave themselves damage just to make the car a bit more stable, induce a bit more understeer, just guide them around the track a bit better. Today, though, the dynamic drastically different. At the Qatar Grand Prix, the wild card, if you haven't seen it already, is there is no DRS. No DRS at all. So that means they're going to have to get creative with the racecraft today. Some innovation and some improvisation could take some people a long way today.
Yeah, and there's certain parts of the circuit where DRS is usually very, very key. So they've got to rely on a bit on the straight line speed. And this is a track which is not designed for straight line speed. It's designed for high downforce. It's a really high speed circuit with tight and twisty turns. The elevation changes is quite interesting as well. So if drivers get caught using DRS, except for the start of one-shot qualifying, because you can't control that, they will get disqualified from the race that's affected. No ifs, ands, or buts. We don't care if they made a mistake and turned it on accidentally. If we catch them using DRS in the race, they get a DQ. That's it.
There you go. Jury's out. You've all been warned. Now, in terms of dynamics as well, we've got the wild cards, like we said, but we've also got the track dynamic, completely different, obviously. Vegas, slightly more clunky. You have the massive Las Vegas strip, where ultimately that slipstream, if you didn't even if you didn't have DRS, the slipstream effect, and because of how long the straight is, would have made such a profound difference anyway, in terms of your overtaking standpoint. Today, though, a lot of high-speed corners. Tyre wear is going to be a big, big thing today. It should be interesting to see how they kind of manage this race. But of course, sprint race first. And we'll see if any overzealousness, any desperation sort of creeps in today. They can ill afford it, but it is surely bound to happen.
I do remember in the F2 Creator Series season last season when we went to Qatar, it was one of my favourite races to race on. And I remember the tyre wear getting towards the end was extremely difficult. It feels like you were losing the rears and you kept spinning all the time. So we will expect drivers who are good at time management to really keep it conservative for the first few laps and really start to push towards the end, because that's what we saw with Adam Sanderson when I was interviewing him last week. He didn't really start to push properly until the final few laps, and then he started to increase his gap a little bit. But he said to us earlier on as well, Adam doesn't feel confident going into today's sprint race. He doesn't like Qatar, so he's just here to have some fun. We've got some notable names racing tonight as well. Quite a few absentees, Carl, but quite a few F1 names that we know and love is going back to the F2 cars once again.
Exactly, quite right. As Jessica says, reserves for tonight. There's a lot of drivers off today. The likes of F1 Alex, Cryzix, Test Will, Dale isn't here, Arsenault isn't here. There's a whole smattering of names that we could go over, but on the other side of the coin, the others that are racing for today, we have Meraki, we have Ricky, Nogueira's here, Infratic is back, he might as well be a regular F2 driver at this point, Matty D's here, and also, is among us for today. So a good roster, and I'm sure there's plenty of rapturous racing still to come. We spoke about Adam Sanderson briefly. I think kudos to him firstly. Got the sprint win last week. Had a very good run of things. We are loading into the sprint race. We are just getting ready. The atmosphere is amping up for the Jewels in the Desert, the Qatar Grand Prix. But he'll be fired up after that week. He will have felt like he was 100% in contention, particularly for the feature race win. Still eludes him, but it'll just help to work him up that little bit more. The grit and determination just constantly growing for him.
And I've seen in the standings as well, with F1 Alex not here tonight, he could really try and increase that gap between himself and F1 Alex in the standings. He climbed his way after a really good result in both races. He climbed himself into third place, which I have to say is really incredible. He really likes this game, but again, very different track dynamic. First used potentially back in 2007. It's known for its motorcycle races, not known for Formula One, but we came back in 2021. Lewis Hamilton did that one, then took a year's break. Then we went back in 2023. It renovated once again, and then it renovated even more this year in real life. I don't think it's changed much on this year's game, but it is going to be interesting. It is a tyre wear pretty much degradation. It goes pretty quickly. The drivers have got to be wary of their setup as well. A lot of people in the chat I've seen were struggling with setup choices. But we're about to get underway with the formation lap with the sprint race.
Of course, reverse grid for the sprint race. We have Zach RC in the Prema car. Oh no, big spin already. Pondon's pirouetting on the start-finish straight, an unorthodox way to heat up your tyres, that is for sure. So as he turns his Pirellis into a pulverised cauldron of, well, catastrophe, let's have a look at what the actual grid is. Zach RC is in P1, Pondon in the Campos lines up in P2, we've got Ultra Killer and Formula Kai on the second row, T-Mac and Ricky on the third row, with Thwats and Adam Sanderson P7 and P8, Formula Karim, the Creator Series F2 champion in P9. Safso in 10th, of course, our reserves lining up plumb last in terms of the back of the grid. We've got Safso, Infratic, Matty D, Razin, Noguera and Meraki, as it's all turning into a bit of a car park in the double right-hander. Clearly taking their time, trying not to take too much life out of the tyres on the formation lap. They're all going to be on the same tyre compound. I think that's pretty obvious from the offset. I don't see why anyone else would try a contra strat. But like we say, the hard tyres, so it's the soft and the hard tyres they have to play with, 2 compounds worth of difference. And the effects of that are extremely profound.
Yep, it is, and they have to use 2 different tyre compounds in the race, and we know that it's going to be, well, in the feature races, we know it's going to be quite interesting in terms of the feature race and how long they could take the softs, but they're going to be on the hard to start with in the sprint, so they're going to have a rough idea on how long they can take it. But the difference between the sprint race and the feature race is a lot longer, 100% distance, sprint race 50% distance, so it's not really going to help them that much, but at least they get a rough idea of how they handle and how much where it gets taken off each lap as well. And it just drives so well on this game, and I'm excited to see how Zach does. He hasn't been in Creator Series in an absolute while due to him being busy. That's why, of course, he's starting on pole position, and he always brings a bit of enthusiasm in the Discord chat. So great to see what he could do in pole position, which usually is the best place to start around Qatar.
It's a pole position ploy. That's what I'm going to go for. He took all the time off, knew he'd start on pole for the sprint. Now it's his best chance yet. The Prema man has it all to do. He also overshot his grid slot, so he's been disqualified, which is not ideal. But they are all just getting into position. We've got Pondon phasing through other cars. We've got... Who on earth is... I have no idea who's trying to do a... Well, I thought it was going to do a parallel park for a second into the... well, maybe. I thought he was doing a parallel park with Ultra Killer, perhaps a 360 on the go. Nope, sauntering into his grid slot. So while we wait for the MP Motorsport man to just gently coax his way onto the second row, soon enough, it's time to go, dueling in the desert. 5 red lights for the sprint. Lights out and away we go extremely quickly. Lights held on for no time at all, and Pondon has absolutely shot off the grid. Like a bullet out of a gun, he's absolutely flown off. That's clear daylight into turn 1. Zach RC slots into P2. A good start from Formula Kai as well. Adam Sanderson getting involved. All kinds of overtakes and racing going on as we look further down the grid. The reserves all getting very spicy with one another. Pondon just skating off into the distance at the moment. Adam Sanderson down the inside of Ultra Killer. He's not wanting to wait around, but the momentum on the outside might lend it to him, although briefly sending the MP car into a half spin. And look who's there to pick up the scraps. Formula Karim already up to P5.
There we go. That is why he's the champion. He definitely wants to pick up the pace and improve, which he really is week after week. And he started off as a reserve driver and he's won the championship. When's the first time we heard that before? Probably loads of times in the F2 Creator Series, and people love that challenge as well. As we're seeing, I think someone drop off. That's Infratic. That's dropped off near the back. That's not good for him, but we could see, I think, one of the Campos cars going for a move there, but Infratic dropped all the way down into P14. Not good for him at all. Zach RC fighting with Big T-Mac and Formula Karim. Formula Karim is not messing up one bit right now, as we're seeing side by side going in towards the final corner. The number 5 car versus the RB car. Who's going to come out on top today? Formula Formula Kareem tries to do does ascend of absolute dreams here. And we also got one of the other Prema cars trying to go for the move in towards turn number 1. We can see a battle for the lead as well between himself, Ponton and Formula Kai. There's so much action happening, Carl. It's hard to look.
Incredible start to proceedings in the sprint race. Sapso looked like he disconnected. Luckily, he is back joining proceedings. Formula Kai continues to pile on pressure upon pressure. Meanwhile, Formula Kareem behind. He's not waiting around for anyone. Down the inside of Zach RC. Dispatched of one Prema the previous lap. He says, I'll have another piece of that pie. Through into P3, goes the Campos driver, as Zach RC goes wide, it opens the door for Adam Sanderson to slide on through. Both driving the number 3 car, I'm not entirely sure how that's happened. We'll gloss over that. Ultra Killer's now trying to go for it on Zach RC, has the outside line. Keep your nerve, fella, he's absolutely aced it right up until the moment. He's skated off towards the next Middle Eastern state. But round the outside, Ultra Killer continues to hold, still remains side by side. Who dares to dream the most? The answer is Formula Kareem might be living the dream. He's in P2 and looking very racy. Both Campos cars neck and neck almost as they enter in towards the penultimate corner and then onto the start-finish straight. It's surely academic. Kareem's already trying to go for it. Fakes to the inside of the final corner. Will cross the line for lap number 3. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, no DRS deployment at the driver's disposal. They can't have that advantage to play with. So they've got to do it with racecraft, with slipstream, and perhaps Formula Kareem can have a good chance here. Formula Kai's also trying to attack. Don't leave the door too far open. Side by side through turn number 1, and Formula Kai is tagged just a tiny bit. Throws him off kilter just enough, but he switchbacks Adam Sanderson.
Wow.
The Prema man thought he'd got the job done, but great racing from Formula Kai, who the instant the pendulum swung the wrong way, corrected proceedings, back through, still side by side. I can hardly keep up with what's happening, but now to the inside line, Adam Sanderson brakes super late. Confidence, absolutely all-time high for the Prema man. In the end, a slide out of the hairpin. Signed, sealed, and delivered for the Prema man of Adam Sanderson. And now I can breathe.
You can breathe, Carl. I have to say, Adam was saying he's not going to be good at Qatar. Well, it's third place, so I think he probably wanted to set his expectations a bit lower, so if he does perform a bit better tonight, he'll be very, very happy, but he's going to find it very tough to keep the likes of Formula Kareem in pretty much in front or behind Adam Sanderson, so it's going to be a really tough call. One thing to mention that we're going to keep an eye on, track limit warnings. That is so common here in the Credit Series in Qatar. We've seen Zach RC get 100 of them, pretty much. Sorry, I'm over-exaggerating, Zach, if you're watching this back, but we're going to see, I think, races be decided by penalties or even by a few tenths of a second as Adam Sanderson does get past Formula Kareem. He's up into second place. Formula Kareem is not going to give up though without a fight, and so is Formula Kai. This could be a 5-way fight for the lead. I have to say Pondon is doing a splendid job keeping all the 4 cars at bay, but can Formula Kareem do a switchback of dreams here? No, Adam Sanderson wants to take a second sprint race win in a row. Formula Kai also wants to take a sprint race win. It's going to be really, really tough. But these 4 are showing how you race in Qatar without any DRS. And by the way, if you see them using DRS, make sure that you keep us informed, because we don't want any DRS being used, because that's the wild card. So if you see any streams, keep an eye on if they use the DRS or not. Yellow flag, that's FRC out the race. And with Bert Mylander asleep, and with the sprint race features being a feature, well, it's no safety car. So we're just going to have to carry on.
Sheared clean off for the Prema driver, not entirely sure who he made contact with. It's no consolation, whatever the analysis. That is sprint day done for Zach RC. Pondon still holds the lead from Formula Kareem, who's managed to keep Adam Sanderson at bay. It just proves how much easier DRS makes it. Keller surprise. But of course it will make it easier. That extra artificial assistance is all the drivers need to get themselves some clear air and prove their proper pace. But now they have to get creative. Feint to the inside, send other drivers off kilter without compromising themselves too much. No real gaps have really opened up at this particular point. And by the way, unsung hero of proceedings, Gwatz is now up to P5. He was in P10 of this race, I'm pretty sure. Now at the head of this train. And of course, with no DRS, should, in theory, be able to hold it. But that's where some setups could come in. Formula Karim at the front of the field, though, still can't find a way past his teammate. So Adam Sanderson says, thank you very much for the invitation. I want to burst P2 for my own. They remain neck and neck through the second corner. Can Campos keep it at a 1-2? Or will Prema spoil the party? The answer is no, they cannot. Formula Karim remains P2. But all the while, the slipstream game's being played. The top four going hammer and tong for the top position in the sprint race. As we rapidly approach halfway through, down the inside, dives Formula Kai. And I tell you what, that was sumptuous for the Dabs driver. It was dastardly, but delightful at the same time. Adam Sanderson doesn't fancy it very much. He wants that P3 back as quickly as he lost it. He won't get it that easily. Oh, never mind. Off goes Formula Kai. I suppose sometimes it is a gift. And look at this. Look how quickly. I was just saying, Gwatz was at the head of a train. Was a second behind this train here. Not that it makes a difference, really, in terms of DRS. There isn't any. But he is now right on the coattails of the front four battle. What was a 4-car battle for the lead now turns to 10.
That is absolutely insane. That's the beauty of no DRS. They just got to rely on skill, and every single driver's got skill. I have to say, Meraki doing quite well. I think most of the F1 reserves doing very well as well and giving us some really good racing. I'm sure we're going to have some great content from this, I'm sure. So I wonder who's going to come up trumps today. Look at Formula Karim. Is he going to try and send it past his teammate? Well, Pondon doesn't want to do that. Pondon wants to defend. For his life. Here comes Adam Sanderson trying to go for a move past Formula Karim. Can he make it stick? We also got Formula Karim going to be free. One to turn 3. Oh my God, they're fighting tooth and nail at the moment. On lap 6 out of 12, it's still Pondon that comes out top trumps. I don't know how he's holding this, but he's doing a really good job. One of the unsung heroes, Adam Sanderson, wants to get a second race win in a row. Trying to get past Formula Karim once again through turn 5. Couldn't quite do so. We also got Gwatz, Meraki's up for position as well, up to 5th. Formula Guy is dropping positions left, right and centre. That is a huge shame. We've got the likes of Razid Chai getting up there. Big team at Matty D. They're all moving positions. No one knows who's going to do well. And this is great. It all is coming down to setup at the moment. Who has got the pace with their setup to really challenge for the race win, and who's going to be hanging out to dry. This, by far, has been a crazy 6 laps of this race. Pretty much almost every single driver we've seen on this grid is in this train, apart from a few other drivers.
It's interesting, actually, because I'm 100% sure Formula Karim could have easily made the move on Pondon. The last 2 laps in particular. I would not even be surprised, to be honest, if he's actually trying to keep the other cars at bay and possibly get his teammate Pondon a sprint race win. Perhaps not, because Adam Sanderson continues to attack, but all the while is giving Pondon the daylight he needs. So Karim can't really threaten, Adam Sanderson can't really threaten, but look at the hungry caterpillar of cars. 10 cars all in the same shot. Linus turn. Gwatz flies out from behind the slipstream to feint to the inside. It's got to be done to try and throw opponents off kilter. But Meraki just invites himself to the outside line, then gets compromised himself. So Razid now trying to go round the outside in the high-tech car. Unfortunately, no dividends paid out for that particular opportunity opening up. Again, Formula Karim having to defend from Adam Sanderson. Really, the no DRS wildcard in full swing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yellow flag,
in quite
Matty
a bold way. Matty D's gone round. Matty D descends down the order. It's devastation for the AIX car. There goes Infratic round the right-hander. Matty D, I think, I'm tempted to say he also has front wing damage on the right-hand side. Not entirely sure from this angle. He might not. Whatever the case, it's emotional damage and also physical damage for the AIX driver.
Well, well, obviously we can't play the soundboard because otherwise we would get DMCA'd by Twitch or X or whatever you like to call it. But that's the soundboard I would have played right now. But this is turning out to be one of the most open races we have in the Creator Series. No one is having an advantage right now in this front end. It might just come down to penalties at the end of the day as well. I wonder how many warnings people have too, because if they want to, well, there we go. That's commentator's curse. Sorry, no Grower. He just got a free ticket time penalty, but I'm almost certain he had one already. Pretty much everyone from P9 downwards has got a penalty. Ricky, by the way, has got past Formula Kai up to P7. Lap 8 of 12 is about to begin. Condon still leads with Formula Kareem in second place. The gap's closing up. Formula Kareem, he's going to try and send it into turn 1. Adam Sanderson trying to follow him through, but Condon is like, no. He's planted his car in all the right places, and he's doing a good job in doing so. Another yellow flag. I don't know what that is, but we want to draw our attention to the guys in front. I don't know how Formula Kareem is not getting past. I think if Formula Kareem had the DRS, he would have. That just shows the greatness at the moment. We're seeing the likes of Meraki, Guat's trying to fend off Adam Sanderson as well. Guat's could take the win. Here he comes in the double overtake. Can he make it stick to take the lead of this sprint race like he did in Las Vegas? He's going to try and do it in the triple right-hander, which is going to be hard anyway. A bit of contact from all three of those drivers, but Adam Sanderson couldn't quite do it. It would have been great if he made it work, but unfortunately not. Wow.
Formula Kareem showing Adam Sanderson the outside. The battle not done yet, but the momentum pays dividends where it matters most on the outside of the left-hander. Campos remain 1 and 2 and continue to create frustration for everyone else behind. Guatz and Meraki, by the way, going side by side or trying to dice with death in the right-handers, as Guatz dices too much with the track limits and gets a 3-second time penalty. There's 6 drivers now with penalties. I think Nogueira also got a 3-second time penalty earlier on in the race, so that has not particularly helped the ART man. In fact, it hasn't helped him at all. Meraki has to try, well, in part trying to turn defense into attack, but Razin now will try and hunker into the slipstream of what's up ahead, and so he shall. We're probably going to try and go to the inside, but then that squares off your line so much. Do you even dare? Meanwhile, a possible change for the lead. 3 wide into turn 1. This is absolutely insane stuff off the track. Goes one of the Campos cars. Adam Sanderson leads. Kareem's now up to P2, albeit for a brief moment. Now it's signed, sealed, and delivered. The Prema driver has finally broken past the Campos barricade ahead. Watson Meraki descending down the order as Razin goes through, albeit he's now got a time penalty. Watts goes further towards Bahrain than the apex of the right-hander. It's all kicking off now as we are... I can hardly speak anymore. We're 3/4 of the way through the Qatar sprint race. Adam Sanderson, the sprint sensation, last time out in Vegas, looking to do the double, also here in Qatar. Step 1 is complete. He's just got to keep it through as there's some alien activities going on between Formula Kai and Meraki is straight on. Has gone Guatz. It's gone absolutely straight on into the wall. Pixelated, grab on the side. It could be wheel problem related. He's also driving... Is he driving the wrong way?
It might be pedal problems, actually. It might be pedal problems. I don't know. We'll find out from Guatz a little bit later on what's caused it at the moment. But what Adam Sanderson did well in the sprint race last week was, like I was saying earlier, he was being conservative at this point of the race. And as soon as he gets to the last few laps, he's like, bang, trying to increase the pace so no one could have a sniff in getting the win of this one. In my opinion, it's between these two. Adam Sanderson, Formula Kareem, but for P3, it's anyone's contest. Meraki's in the picture for P3 now, in his car, trying to get past the Campos car. The Campos car is trying to defend for his life with Pondon, but Meraki's going to be like, no, I'm going to try and go around the outside in towards turn number 4, and he does it. No, yeah, he does. Meraki's up to 3rd.
Just saw Formula Kareem also go round the outside of turn number 2. I thought he was just gatekeeping his pace a little bit behind Pondon, but now he's allowed to be unleashed. This is personal. This is for the win as T-Mac goes astronomically wide. Kareem defends successfully into the left-hander. It is surely a contest between the Prema and the Campos driver. Meraki will deploy every single morsel of pace he has in his MP Motorsport machine. But time is running out. 2.5 tours of the Qatar circuit, the Losail circuit to go. Formula Kareem has the advantage for the time being, but so far, Slipstream proving to be super effective. No need for the DRS. Slipstream is more than enough down that start-finish straight as Pondon continues to plummet down the pecking order. The heart aches for him. The poor Campos driver was leading not but a lap and a half ago, or a lap and 3/4 ago. Now down to P5, and Ricky has a great chance of snapping up the top 5.
He's done so well, Pondon, bless him, to get the lead for so long and try to hold off like 10 cars in one straight. You got to feel for him, but he's had a good sprint race, and you could have his head how high that he led pretty much almost all of it. But we are on lap 11 of 12 here. Usually DRS chicken will come into play, but with no DRS wildcard, you can't do that. Emphatic is out of the race. He has gone into a whole different stratosphere in the final few corners. That is his sprint race done and dusted. I think the likes of Pollard and Ricky will still gain quite a bit, even if they lose places, because of the amount of time penalties the back of the field have. Speaking of Ricky trying to go around the outside into the first of the triple right-handers. Here he goes. Ricky, is he going to get 5th place? Yes, Ricky does get 5th place. And it's not the triple right-handers. Never mind. I always get confused what part of the circuit people are on, because it looks similar. We're seeing someone has had it off. That's Razin Chai. Razin Chai dropped to 11th place. Ultra has dropped down a place as well. No Guerra is now in the top 9. And bearing in mind, don't forget the top 8 in the sprint race in Creator Series to score points. So if you're in the top 8, you want to score as many points as you can. So surely this will be a consolation prize for Condon in the Campos now. But Formula Green, I know he's won the championship, but he still wants to score as many points as he possibly can to show why he is the F2 champion for a reason. 8 tenths of the gap between himself and Adam Sanderson for this one. And we also got a gap, the fight for third, that likes Meraki and Formula Kai. This is going to be interesting. We're about to start the final lap of this crazy sprint race. Take it away. I'll let you take us through the final lap.
Thank you very much. Formula Karim with a second's worth of a gap. I knew he was keeping something behind. And there it is. The proof in the pudding. Now a second ahead. A comfortable barrier as Pondon is going to try and defend from T-Mac. T-Mac going down the inside with a sumptuous suckage of slipstream. Probably not the best phrase I could have used, but trying to switch back now through the left-hander. Pondon and T-Mac having a great run of things, and then a slide on the exit for the Rodin Carlin car. Pondon could secure P6. That's a good starting to proceedings for that one. Ricky's right on the back of Formula Kai. He's got a time penalty, has the Dams driver. So an inheritance of P4 for Ricky. He will certainly be pleased with that one. But up ahead, I say up ahead, Formula Karim's dominated proceedings since he managed to unleash his pace. Behind, though, it's getting a bit spicy, Safso, Razin, Noguera, and Ultra Killer, the massive 4-car train, side by side, between Razin Chai and Noguera. Through goes Razin, albeit front wing damage in complementary fashion, but the pair of them, extremely wide, goes the high-tech car, carving out his own track, essentially, while they sort out the scraps on the track for the last points-paying position. Up ahead, approaching the final 2 corners. Crowned champion last week, starts the sprint in sensational fashion. It's the perfect start from the F2 Creator Series champion. Start as he means to go on. Karim's living the dream. He wins the Qatar sprint race. Adam Sanderson takes home a very well-earned and deserved P2. Meraki comes home P3. Ricky in P4. Formula Kai keeps P5, Pondon P6, Safso will keep P8 to his name because Razin had about 5 minutes worth of penalties. Noguera takes P9. The points are all sorted out. We just wait for Matty D to round the final lot of corners to conclude this sensational sprint slobberknocker. But in the end, they clashed. They went for it for 12 laps. The man out on top for the start of this weekend. Formula Karim does it again.
It's just nothing stopping this guy, isn't it? He could just win anything and absolutely deliver. He said to us that he likes this track as well, so I'm very excited to see what he could do in the sprint race. Was really sad that it was over after 12 laps because I was starting to really enjoy myself and get in field with all this fighting going on. But don't you worry, there's still more action to come. We've got a 100% feature race, which I think is going to make the strategy even more interesting. And to decide the grid for that, it will be one-shot qualifying. I'm still amazed with how the racing has gone so far, and I wonder what tactics they're going to play with no DRS here. But Formula Cream out on top. Massive shout out to Adam Sanderson for taking second after climbing up through the field as well. Because don't forget, he was P3 in the championship, so he had to start quite lower down as well. What a podium! It is one of the best sprint races of the season.
You can't write it. Absolutely rapturous racing and lifting the grandest prize to the heavens in the sprint race. Formula Karim does it again. What a race from the Campos driver. He's practically unstoppable out there. And so he proves, at least in race 1, but there is still one to go. Adam Sanderson can be very pleased indeed with P2. Meraki comes home in P3 with Ricky in P4. Formula Kai 5th, Pondon 6th, T-Mac in 7th, Safso rounds out our point scorers. The rest of the order you can bear witness to in front of your very eyes. Well, what a start to proceedings here in the Creator Series in Qatar. The wildcard certainly had some kind of effect. We've seen all kinds of close racing in F2 before, but that was complete madness. Absolutely insane work from everybody. And there's just a little bit more determination, a little bit of innovation coming through there. More of an opportunistic element to proceedings today. It's all very interesting.
It is, and we still got quite a few races to go, but there was switching for the lead, like almost every few corners in the last couple of laps. It was insane, and Formula Karim just knew when to push the button and start to show his true pace. But I think what the No DRS has shown, that it's hard to overtake around this circuit unless you can get very, very close to a driver, and that's all not exciting. We know how the tyre wear was going to be. I've seen quite a few people spinning on the last few laps because they were struggling with degradation, and it's really hard around this circuit. So I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top in the feature. I can't call it at the moment. We may see an upset, and I want to see an upset, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, actually, that brings me on segue to my next point very, very nicely. Also, can I just say, it is Formula Karim's 3rd sprint race win of the season. He did it in round number 7. He also did it in round number 2 when we were in Baku. So his 3rd sprint race win of the season. He could add to his already growing collection of 5 feature race wins. Could get a 6 here today. So that's quite a damning statistic. But statistics are one thing. Actually executing it is another thing entirely. But actually, on to my point now. Predictions. First of all, in the qualifying battle, Jessica, who do you predict for pole position?
Well, I was going to say Karim, but he's starting at the back, so I'm going to go for a bold one. If he can hook the lap together, I think he could challenge for the feature race win. But Paul, I'm going to go with Formula Kai.
Formula Kai. Very nice choice. I rate it. I am going to say on pole position, provided he doesn't retire and start from the back and ruin my day, I'm going to say Meraki. I think Meraki's got a good shout. I think he's got some really good pace in that. I can't remember what car he's in anymore. I'm so sorry, Meraki. But he's got some great pace. He's got some absolutely... I think it was an MP Motorsport car. Don't quote me on that. But he's got some great pace. I feel like he has a very, very good shout for pole. But he's going to be my pick for pole. That's for certain. But then we get onto the feature race itself. A whole different kettle of fish. And with tyre wear wreaking havoc, Jessica, who will prevail, do you think?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here, because I hope you were going to ask me in the feature race when we all did the qualifying, but it's about how you can manage your tyres effectively, and we've seen, you can't get past Formula Karim, right? I know he's starting at the back, but I'm going to say, I want to see what it like he did in Monaco. I want Karim to do a last to first.
Well, I mean, you definitely can't ignore it. As soon as he was in clear air, the man drives like a monster. Unbelievable, his pace. I'm going to not say Formula Karim, as easy as it might be to say that. I am going to say Gwatz. Just throwing it out there. I think Gwatz is going to win. Well, admittedly, he did take himself out of the sprint race. So probably not a smart idea. But let me cook. The pot's at a simmer. I'm bringing it to a boil. But that will come with time.
Good to be bold, though.
Exactly. It's always good to be bold. Speaking of bold, overtaking manoeuvres. I mean, we saw it briefly there. But feature race, like, what's the play, really? I mean, after 12 laps, like you said, the hard tyres practically disintegrated themselves. A lot of drivers were struggling. And you've got the 2 steps in between the tyre compounds. So it really is going to be fully dependent on how you manage your tyres, how smooth you are around this circuit.
And the drivers won't know how the hards operate in a 100% race, because after 12 laps in a 50% race, it would die. So I'm thinking maybe 15, 16 laps it could last at a push, and it should be all right. But what happens if there's an early safety car? There's a lot of questions to be asked. In Las Vegas, we had so many safety cars, and people thought, nah, this driver's not going to get to the end of the pit now. It turns out they did get to the end. The safety car pretty much saved their bacon. This is what I like about 100% races, that they could be bold with the strategy. I think quite a few people will start on the softest tyre available, thinking that there could be a safety car. We've seen quite a few offs, haven't we? So I think we could get an early safety car and maybe starting on soft is the way to go. But we're not the ones in the cockpit. They're the ones in the cockpit. They know best, of course. And it's about giving them the fastest strategy possible. But there'll be no Creator Series feature race without a safety car, so I'm predicting at least one.
Well, providing Bernd Mailander isn't chronically asleep during the feature race, we probably will see a safety car. You'll be lucky not to see one in F2 Creator Series. So if there's any prediction you're going to make today, you have a safe bet choosing that one. Other things, of course. Well, we talked about track limits, but now we get to qualifying. One-shot qualifying, as it always is in the F2 Creator Series. But we saw how easy it was to pick up penalties. It's going to be so easy to throw your lap away in an instant. And that's the dynamic that this track brings. So perhaps a little bit of self-preservation going into qualifying. And with the wildcard coming in, could spring up a few surprises. And perhaps having that track position could be the best way to go.
Yes, one-shot qualifying. I always find it difficult to get a lap validated first time around Qatar, even on the F1 cars, let alone the F2 cars. So surely quite a few drivers would have practiced. And apart from the first lap, the first bit of the lap, they can't use DRS. So the amount of top speed that they're going to reach in some of the corners that require it, especially on the final corner towards the end of the lap, they're going to notice the speed difference straight away, and they're thinking they're not going to get fast enough. So it's just relying on their true judgment. And even if they knew about the track ages ago, they only knew about the wildcard an hour to go before the race. So they haven't had chance to practice their one-shot qualifying in proper conditions. So I think it's going to be some unknowns. We could see an upset. I think we could see one of the big hitters invalidate their laps in qualifying because they exceed track limits. I would say turn 5 or 6 or whatever. Turn 5 and 6 is always a commonplace around this track to invalidate. I've done that many a times on this game around Qatar.
It is a tricky mistress, is Qatar. Speaking of circuits for the time being, we do have 2 races, by the way. A lot of you will have seen the calendar and gone, oh, there's 3 races. No, there's not. There's only 2 races left this season. This being the penultimate round of the season here in Qatar. There it is in front of you. Abu Dhabi, obviously coinciding with the real-life Grand Prix, will be the last round of the F2 Creator Series season. No Mystery Grand Prix on December the 13th. This is it. The last 2. And there's, again, we can see Adam Sanderson is P3 in the driver's standings. He's on 112. Kryzik is 154. He's actually got, if he has a good result today, particularly in the feature race, he's already gained 7 points in that sprint. If he has a good result, scores high in that feature race, just piles on the pressure that little bit more.
Yes, I think even F1 Scott is not here tonight either. So really, he could solidify P3 in the championship tonight, or even P4 in the championship at least, and that will be a huge achievement for Adam Sanderson. You've seen the improvement game, well, pretty much season after season in the F2. He seems to find his feet with the new F2 cars. This is the first season with the new F2 cars, and everyone's been enjoying it. And I can definitely say Adam's been enjoying it the most with his F2 career modes that I've seen on his Twitch channel. It's always fun to watch every week, and it's great that the creators are definitely relishing in the new challenge of the new F2 cars. And I haven't driven it myself. I would like to give it a go, but we are about to get in to the action once again. We're about to reset. I can't wait. Can you?
I can't wait either. I'm so ready. If the racing and the sprint was anything to go by, I imagine the feature race should throw up some tremendous times. I have no doubt about that. One-shot quali, 100% feature race. It will be all systems go for all of these drivers. today. We are 30 seconds away. So let the atmosphere amp up, because qualifying is just around the corner. Of course, like we said, track limits will play a part, but being medium to high speed for the majority of it, really the only slow corner, that left-hander, that hairpin towards, I think the beginning of sector 2, don't quote me on that. But that's the only slow corner you have. The rest of it, you have to have that commitment without overstepping the boundaries. And like you said, Jessica, that is so easy to do, as we are now into one-shot qualifying, perhaps to prove our points. Jessica, take it away for a lap of the Losail circuit.
Here we go then, the track 5.418 kilometers long in length, as we can see Guat's making his way in towards turn number 1. Aims to the left-hand side and keeps his car fully planted, lifted in towards turn number 3. Now this next part of the track is going to be very difficult for our drivers to keep your car valid on the track. Turn number 5. In F1 cars, you can lift a little bit, but in these cars, carry as much speed as you possibly can with just a little bit more lifting as you can too. And this is going to be really tight coming up too. We're almost approaching the hairpin, where you carry as little speed as you possibly can. Aim to the right a little bit. You can see he's maximising the track limits without getting an invalidation, of course, as well. In 4th gear, keeps the car in a nice condition. Now this is going to be the tricky bit. Through turn 10, through 3rd gear he goes, and this is the part of the track where I absolutely love. Full commitment, the triple right-hander, you keep it fully planted in to all 3 corners. Go 1, go 2, go 3. We'll see quite a few people invalidating there, but Guat has no such problems. And I think we could see quite a close call. At the moment, it is Razenchai that is on pole. Maraki's keeping him line astern at the moment, but Guat is looking like he's going to settle himself for P5 on the road. But as they all come across the line, it is Razenchai who takes pole for the feature race, with Maraki in 2nd and Adam Sanderson, the first of the full-time F2 drivers, to get into 3rd place. Good on him as well. But Razenchai, none of us predicted Razenchai for pole position. Guess what? He proved us wrong there and then.
I was so close to being the prediction prince, Maraki. What have you done? Still, P2 on the road. Nothing to turn your snout up out. Credit to Razenchai, though. Pole position for the high-tech driver, bringing in the futuristic flows, perhaps. But first at Losail, has a clear track ahead of him, but plenty of blood in the water for everybody else to sniff out. And look how close some of the gaps were. Oh. Adam Sanderson in P3, you've got less than half a tenth to Ricky behind. Exactly half a tenth between Ricky and Gwatz. Just over half a tenth between Gwatz and Safzo, and then a little bit of a spread out from there. The only person not to set a time was Formula Karim in the end. I have a feeling a person got disqualified, Ultra Killer. Ultra Killer ultrally killed his qualifying session, and that's not very good fun. But that's qualifying done. Thank you for taking us through a lap of that, Jessica. That was very well done indeed. And now we have a feature race just around the corner. The party never ends here in Formula 2 Creator Series.
And the question is, Carl, what tyres are they're going to be starting on? Are they going to be starting on the softs or the hard compounder tyres? I think we could see quite a bit of a mixture going on. They will have some time to really get into gear. What the drivers will come into force as well. It is fast and flowing, this 5.4 kilometers track. It has medium speed corners. It has high speed corners. Over 1 kilometer of the track's length is made up of the main straight. Lots of overtaking opportunities in towards turn number 1. We've seen many feeder series races here before. GB2 Asia comes to mind for me, February 2009. The 20th race of the 2021 Formula 1 season it hosted then. Lewis Hamilton won that one. Quite a few upgrades and a few challenges for our drivers tonight. Fuel. That's going to be quite a bit of an issue because you can't change it. You don't want to burn that much fuel, so you've got to manage your gears effectively. Tyres will also play an important part, especially in the first and second sectors, where you have to brake a bit more compared to the high-speed Sector 3. And the Sector 3, I have to say, one of the most technical and most tricky part of the track, but definitely the most fun, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree more with you. Qatar, when you get it right, the actual flow of it is that there's no sweeter feeling than hooking up a lap of Qatar. Feel free to disagree with me, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
We are phasing back in to the reality of a formation lap here in Losail. Is anyone going to go for some creative interpretations of tyre warming strategies? Immediately at the VAR car, Pratik getting on the dirt, starting in P9, but Razin with that clear track ahead of him, but straight down the inside with a statement of intent is, I believe, one of the Campos cars. Not entirely sure if it's Pondon or Formula Karim. It's already going round the outside of a Prema, whoever it is.
It's a formation lap, for goodness sake.
It's a statement of intent. Up to P2 already. Starting on the hard tyres, though. And Jessica, you did say this. Tyre strategy disparity is evident immediately. I've seen Adam Sanderson on the softs. That right there is, I believe, the high tech of Razin on the softs. Formula Karim starting on the hard compound tyres. It's pretty much as even of a split as you are ever going to get. Almost even on the hards and even on the softs. So, those starting on the harder compounds, perhaps, feeling like there isn't a safety car in particular, they'll have that lighter car at the end. It'll be slightly less stress on the tyres, whereas those on the softer tyres going for pure pace straight out of the gate, get onto those hard tyres, and then it's just all about management from there. But don't count out the safety cars. There are a smattering of them in this realm.
I think there will be a lot in Qatar. I think there'll be at least 2, especially in a 100% race. The top 5, I think, done the right thing, going on the soft tyres. They will get absolutely swamped if the one-to-one drivers behind them will start on the soft tyres as well. The ones on the hards near the middle, they're going to find it quite tough to get defend from the soft runners around them. But no DRS, remember, is going to be really tricky to overtake. So it really is anybody's game at the moment. Formula Karim, he's not starting on pole, but he wants to get onto his grid slot as soon as he can at the moment. So
He's won the race
here he comes then. He's way behind his grid. What is he doing? Oh, there he is. Okay, there we go.
He's won the race to the grid, ladies and gentlemen. Like I say, a champion statement of intent. As there's some creative tyre warming strategies from, I believe, the other Campos car. Pondon going for a cheeky 360. There's so many cars going pirouetting on the start-finish straight. You can hardly believe it. But we are soon to be underway for what is going to be a ferocious and fiery feature race. It certainly will be fiery. It's about 1 billion degrees in Qatar. Qatar, of course, no stranger to tyre turmoil, particularly in real life. In 2021, it was, I believe, the Williams of George Russell and Valtteri Bottas who got punchers in the main event. And then we don't even need to talk about what on earth happened last year, as we see Razin Chai, well, use his crack beam on the rest of the... Well, you can't win them all. Ultra Killer's also missed his grid slot. And then there was one, Zach RC, sauntering up to his grid slot. And once he parks it, ladies and gentlemen, turn up the wick. It's 5 red lights for the feature race. Lights out and away we go. Good start from Razin Chai, but the Premier of Adam Sanderson immediately drops anchor. And Ricky surges through into P3. Now towards turn number 1 we go. Lots of side-by-side. Already 3 wide between Safso, Quads and T-Mac. But Meraki already putting himself in the prime position for victory. Or at least trying to ascend there. The F1 Creator Series faithfuls run side-by-side towards the double right-hander. Razin with the inside will show Meraki the outside if he remains there. Meraki thinks wiser of it, remains in the slipstream for now as we enter towards the left-hander. Feinting to the inside, a bunch of drivers. No one wanting to ship track position this early on. Those on the hard tyres will be feeling a sinking feeling. Those soft tyres have got to get down the road as quickly as possible. Through towards Sector 2. Razin leads from Meraki, leads from Ricky.
The top 3 are showing why they're in F1. They're doing an absolutely incredible job. Razin Chai had a really good launch off the line, so did Meraki, but quite a few people dropped a few places off the line because they struggled to get their hards up to temperature. I know on this game, the F2 tyres are so difficult to warm up, and it's definitely showing at the moment. The top 7 are all on the soft tyres. We had a few in the top 7 on the hards, but they're dropping position left, right and centre. Safso remains in a position. He's been chased down by Emphatic and Matty D. Ultra Killer has made quite a few positions. Karim not made a few positions as we would have liked, but maybe the effect of no DRS is coming to play for our drivers. We're on lap 2 of 32 now, and Razin Chai takes on another lap around this race. But look at this midfield battle at the moment for, I think it's P8 on the road, as Safso defends to his left-hand side in towards turn number 1. We can see, I think, the AIX car fighting the MP Motorsport car. Matty D versus Formula Kai versus Formula Kareem versus Ultra Killer. Who's going to come out on the top here at the moment as they're all trying to find creative ways to make an overtake around this 5-kilometre circuit, and it is no means feat. This is incredible stuff.
Ricky, by the way, ascended up into P2. He's managed to get past Meraki, and it's even more of a sinking feeling for the MP driver. Adam Sanderson sends it to the inside. Off the left-hand hairpin and through the Prema driver goes. Prema power in full effect. Up into P3 he goes, and now chasing the front of the field, just like he did in the sprint race. Now there's plenty of shuffling going on behind. Formula Kareem and Matty D practically super glued to each other as they're constantly switching around for P12. Who will dare to dream the most? The answer is, at the moment, Formula Kareem has the ascendancy, and by the time they get to the triple right-hander, Formula Kareem ascends up in the Campos car to P12. It's nice solidarity between the Campos drivers. They were super glued together for the sprint race at the front of the field. Perhaps not exactly the same effect. Oh dear, we already have penalties, and it's lap number 2. 3 seconds for both Pondon and Zach RC, and I can't even...
Feels like he's in the same corner.
It's like, what is... We're only a 16th through the race, and there's already time penalties going through as Formula Kai continues his ascension up, actually. What was a spicy battle between himself and Formula Kareem, it's now going to be a drag race between himself and Infratic. But don't count out the Campos driver. He's looking for moves. Down the inside, shows the nose. Formula Kai cuts across ruthlessly to stop the Campos man from careering past a pair of them. But will resistance be futile? Kareem holds it round the outside the best he can ascend past one, can't get past Formula Kai just yet.
Nope, he can't. Formula Kai was my pick for pole position, and that didn't materialise, unfortunately, but he's still trying to make the most out of a bad situation by getting as much position as he can. We've got one of the Campos cars, there's Formula Kareem. He wants to send it up the inside, and we also got Emphatic trying to follow him for company. Kareem is giving it everything he has got right now around a very difficult circuit, pretty much the entirety of the grid. The top 13 is within a second of each other. Pondon's had a bit of a spin to the gravel trap to Narnia. He's had a fantastic sprint race, but the feature's not going well for him, unfortunately. But it just goes to show how tricky the hard the tyres are in general in a 100% race trim.
Pendulum can swing so viciously. One moment you're on top of the world, you're fighting at the front of the sprint race, it can all crash down in a heartbeat. Formula Kareem is looking to continue his ascension up the order, but Formula Kai well within the slipstream of Safso up ahead. We're seeing Formula Kareem trying to get to the front of the hard tyre runners, so I'm not entirely sure who it is at the moment. I think it actually might be Safso at the moment. Don't quote me on that. Yes, it is Safso. That was a very lucky guess. But Formula Kareem pulling to the inside, looking to ascend into the top 10. Formula Kai's been very racy. He will not let this one go down without a fright. It's cutthroat and contact between the two of them as the pressure in the overtaking begins to boil over slightly. They remain side by side as they head towards the double right-hander. Infratic and Matty D have their popcorn ready for this absolute box office battle. In the end, it's concluded with Formula Kareem moving his way up to P10, but he's got some catching up to do now for Safso and P9. Meraki and Gwat's going into combat. My pole position pick and my race win pick, Gwat's with the outside line, will do well not to exceed track limits, and he hasn't done. Very nicely done from the Trident man, and down the inside to stick a spear into the soul of the MP man, who started off so well, but Gwat's has made the ascension up to P4.
Look at Gwat's, he's on a comeback, he's on a redemption, he wants to forget what happened in the sprint race and try to plough on in the feature race. We've got more time penalties affecting our drivers, one of which is Ultra Killer, and we've got, I think, really, the time penalties going to come into effect very, very soon, but they're going to be thinking about pit stop strategies here and there. I'm surprised we haven't seen a safety car at this point, but that's because everyone has been keeping it relatively clean so far from first down to a ring about 7th place. Going out trade T-Mac has had a good race as well, but we got a potential battle for the lead of this race. The Trident car versus Bazin Chai trying to go for as much positions as they can. Razin is all going to give up without a fight, but the driver who recently signed to Williams in the F1 Creator Series is giving Razin a run for his money, but unfortunately there was no answer to Razin. He defended for his life here. Razin is still leading the way.
Good racing between the two of them. Immense respect all the way up and down the field. It's fantastic to see. At the moment, no avenue through for Ricky just yet. Both the Trident boys running second and fourth, by the way. An immense race from the pair of them so far, but it's only lap number 5 out of 32. And we're seeing the effects of the two the tyre compounds being 2 grades softer. At the moment, this train of cars, the top 7, Razin all the way down to T-Mac, have a near 8-second gap to Safso, who's the head of the hard tyre runners. Ponden's had another moment at the hairpin. It is not going his way whatsoever, as Formula Karim has gone down the inside of Safso into the left-hander. The cream of the crop rising to the top as he does. Safso will try and go round the outside. Resistance will be futile, though. The Campos man made the critical move to be at the forefront of the hard tyre runners. Has got the straight to contend with, though, so providing he gets a good last 2 corners, it should be all held into his account. But Safso keeping him very, very honest. That gap now rises to 9 seconds to the front battle. That's an immense deficit to make up, but when that crossover happens, it will be vicious. Safso remains in the slipstream of Formula Karim. Will Karim make a defence to the inside? The answer is no, he doesn't. Holding the outside line. We have seen a lot of drivers have an advantage from using the momentum. It's absolutely millimetrically close between the pair of them. But in the end, Formula Karim has it in his grasp. Shuts the door on the outside line of Safso, has P9 in his clutches, but oh, for how long? Because Safso's diving down the inside again, but still holding it. Marvellous momentum from the Campos driver. Finally, surely that's P9 in his possession, as Formula Kai feints a move to the inside, but he's going to get switched back by Infratic. Look at the compromises being made. One moment you're trying to attack, next moment, Jessica, you're being put under immense pressure. There's so many calculations to be done.
You have the position. No, you have the position. This is what it feels like at the moment, but no, they're really fighting for it. Like it's the MD5 government. This is absolutely amazing stuff from some incredible drivers. I'm almost certain it's going to make great content on their respective social channels for sure. I can't wait to see their POV of this, and it's just as an entertaining battle happening near the front for the lead of this race as well. Razin leads from Ricky, from Adam Sanderson. I wonder if Adam Sanderson is saving a bit of his tyres right now to get to a certain point of the race. What is right behind Adam Sanderson now? Is he going to try and go for a lunge into turn 1? He's thinking about it, he thought about it, but he thought that there wasn't enough space, and he's trying to follow Adam Sanderson through in towards turn 2. Now heading towards another difficult part of the track of turn 3. Through into a little kink of turn number 4, and they're doing all they can to stay within this train because they're not going to rely on DRS at all. They're going to rely on absolute slipstream at the moment. Emphatic closing up on Matty D. No, not Matty D. Formula Kai in the background, but you can see Razin just playing his strategy superbly at the moment. He doesn't need to push too much. As long as he can keep the drivers behind, he's loving life up front.
Absolutely. Watts making himself as big as he can in the mirrors of Adam Sanderson. Anything he can to impose any sort of assertion of dominance. At the moment, though, the position remains in the Premier Man's favour. That gap now absolutely, well, it's dead on. It's 9 seconds, fundamentally, between the hard tyre runners and this 7-car train of soft tyre runners up ahead. Ultra Killer struggling on his tyres, though, and Formula Karim rapidly approaching 1 second behind. As through the triple right-hander we go. Ricky right underneath the diffuser of the high-tech car. And we're seeing, well, DRS trains are obviously a thing. Of course, we don't have DRS this week, but there are still slipstream trains coming about. These two at the front have disjointed themselves from the cars behind. And Ricky, looking ever more rampant and ever more racy, hunkers into the slipstream. Razin trying to break the toe, weaving this way and that. But it's surely inevitable. Ricky pulls to the outside. We've seen many drivers succeed from this position before. He tried it a couple of laps ago, couldn't get it done then. Now has the inside line for the left-hander. Razin will cling on for dear life to any sort of momentum. They remain side by side, but again, Razin just has the superior flow. There's a yellow flag behind. Razin keeps the lead of the race as, well, I thought it was beached on a sausage curve for a second, but Formula Kai, who was having a great run of things. He had a great run, actually, in the sprint race. Has had a great run in the feature race up until that point. But still, Ricky... My gosh, Naguera and Naraki going at it as well. Ricky weaving one way and then the other. It is relentless in the desert.
It is relentless. They're not going to give up without a fight, these guys, because points are up. Well, pretty much points are pretty much on the table for all these drivers. Welcome to the Qatar Grand Prix in the F2 Creator Series. This is the feature race, and this has been absolutely mental proportions with no DRS. They're not even allowed to use DRS at all through the straight, and it's just making the race entertaining. The wild cards has brought some excitement to the Creator Series. They're not knowing what challenges they have in store for each race until an hour before, and it just makes things a little bit wide open for the drivers. You can see challenges being made. We got our first pit stop, and we've got one of the Tridents pitting in really early is Ricky, and we also see, I believe, Adam Sanderson coming to the pits. Big T-Man is also in the pits as well. They're going on off those soft tyres and going on to potential hard tyres to the end. Surely not, but this is what I like about this 100% race. No one knows if those hards could get to the end or not. This is going to get interesting.
The LaSalle furnace has allowed the pit lane to ignite into life. 3 cars in, Ricky, Adam Sanderson and T-Mac all opting to go onto the hard tyres, go for an undercut. Meanwhile, while I was watching, Formula Kareem did make it past Ultra Killer. So now we'll see the representative pace of the hard compound tyres versus those softs here on lap number 9. We're only just a quarter of the way through this F2 Creator Series race, and that gap is being munched and munched some more. It's being absolutely gazumped. What was gargantuan will surely be minute when all is said and done. It's already been reduced by about a second just in this sequence of corners, and they've got the high speed stuff to go as well. Those hard tyres have found their crossover, and perhaps that's what Adam and Ricky and T-Mac were all watching for. They had the gauge of Formula Kareem. He was the barometer on those hard compound tyres of when and where the time to strike was. It looks like now might be the time. Don't be surprised to see more of the leaders peeling into the pits at the end of this lap. Keller Surprise, Razin's peeled in, and Meraki peel into the pit lane.
There they go then. They had to respond to the challenges around them. They saw that the undercutting and the F2s are very, very powerful, and if they lose all that time by staying out, it's going to have a huge burden on their very worn tyres. We know softs around here in Qatar don't last very long anyway, so it's a no-brainer for some of these guys. I wonder if everybody else near the back is going to be following suit currently. We'll see how the people to just pit in. So we got Formula Kai that's retired from the session. Luckily though, it's in the pit lane. Bert Mylander is still falling asleep, so no safety car is being called. Such a relief potentially for the ones who have made a stop. They're not going to lose just as enough time to the guys around them. Good news for having at least the top, I would say, 9 who haven't pitted. Razachai still leads the ones who have pitted, and it's Ricky, then Meraki, then Adam Sanderson.
Yeah, Ricky not gaining that much time, despite being right underneath the diffuser of the high-tech man who we are watching at the moment. So those new tyres, we said it before, the warm-up, like, timing of those hard tyres is so supremely long in the F2 cars, and that's exacerbated the issue for the Trident driver. Razin now has some daylight and some clear air to just pump into consistent lap times. Didn't have that freedom before, but now he can just dictate where he wants to put his car without worrying what's behind. That little bit of relief pressure is going to make a massive difference. Meanwhile, front of the field, Gwatz and Noguera. Not Noguera anymore. He's peeled into the pit lane as well. He too having to respond to stay probably in the front fight itself. Adam Sanderson and Meraki very, very close to one another, by the way. Mere hundredths of a second, now a tenth, as Meraki does defend the position successfully. try and go side by side round the triple right-hander. You're signing your own death sentence, quite frankly. Adam Sanderson thinks better of it. Another 3-second time penalty. Zach RC has 12 seconds of time penalties at the moment. I think the record, it's not exactly a desirable record, but the record we've had is about 50 seconds, I think. So perhaps there is a record to be toppled today, in some regard. Possibly not that one, like I say. It's an undesirable. But Nogueira, where is he going to filter out in all of this? Razin's gone through. Ricky has gone through. Nogueira's exiting the pit lane. And I tell you what, he might filter out ahead of Meraki and Adam Sanderson, but gets a big slide on igloos of Pirellis. So round the outside, it's so easy for Meraki to dance the MP car round the ART machine. And Adam Sanderson won't waste any time either. Ricky, never mind, he's got his tyres up to speed, very much so. Razin's now got the sinking feeling. This is the time for the Trident driver to strike. He agrees, but can't get late enough on the brakes or alongside enough. Not nearly as much as he would have wanted to. A fleeting hope of side-by-side into the right-hander. For now, Razin has it covered.
Razin Chai is defending for his life once again and doing it well. He tends to have a lot of fun around here when we race around Qatar, and he's doing a great job as of that. Ricky impressive as well, trying to fend off Meraki there a little bit, and he's picked up the pace as well, so it's quite a bit of a gap between himself and Meraki, but it'll be interesting to see the fight between Adam Sanderson and Meraki later on in the race as well. More pitters. Gwatz is coming in to the pit lane to make his stop on potentially the hard compound tyres, because I'm sure he started on those soft compound tyres earlier on as well, which makes this fight even more important. So we got Meraki versus Ricky versus Razin Chai for this potential battle for great positions. Adam Sanderson in this fight as well. Who is going to come out on top? Ricky in the Trident, trying to take advantage of Zakar Ossi's older tyres and newer tyres. Surely on this game has a lot more of an advantage. People trying to stay out may have not worked for them. Ricky is ahead of Razin Chai now, and Ricky is now your new net race leader. But for how much longer? Oh, that was very close between himself and Razin there in that corner.
It was a marvellous move, actually, from Ricky. Used Zach Garcia as the bottleneck. Razin had committed to the inside, knowing that the outside line had the vastly superior momentum. Ricky opted in, and he put all of the betting onto the outside line, and it came out fruitfully. He goes to the provisional race lead when all is said and done and everyone peels into the pit lane. But the more that these guys fight, the happier those hard tyre runners up ahead will be. They can just carry on their merry way while they lose time, and they can ill afford to do that. Infratic is behind one of the sole remaining soft tyre runner. I commend you for running them for 11 laps, but surely you've got to peel in, and Ultra Killer does indeed. No DRS for Infratic because
he can read our
before,
mind.
No chance, exactly. It's telepathic communications in the commentary box.
I was like in my mind, hit now, or else. I'm joking. Yeah.
Possession station.
He wasn't going to stay on for the tyres for that long. He knows he would have been in puncher territory at the moment as well. As we've got F1 Alex in the chat as well. He's been very busy this week, so he can't make for the rest of the season. He's going on a cruise soon, lucky him. But this is not stopping these guys go for battle. I did see a bit of end-plate damage, but some of the huge contact in the background. But what they're trying this, I think, they drop position. That is Guaz. Oh, he's having a bad day today. He retired for the sprint race, and he's dropped down to 11th in the feature race. What's going on with him at the moment? All 5 cars from Meraki all the way down to Guaz. 5 for the stage track. Some people haven't even pitted yet.
There's big damage for Adam Sanderson. Look at the left-hand side of his wing. He's got half a front wing on his wagon. It's absolute devastation stations for the Prema driver who got caught up in the half spin from Gwatz. I think he even might have initiated the contact. That or he was the innocent party. But he's going to lose absolute acres of time to the cars ahead. It's the sinking feeling for the Prema driver. Strong in the sprint once again. The feature race looks like it could run away from him as T-Mac looks to go round the outside. Adam Sanderson will try and defend as much as he can, but there's only so much defensive due diligence he can afford to do before he has to concede, has to get a new front wing on that Prema car. Still very early days in this race. Lap number 14. We're approaching halfway of this Qatar race. Feels like it's going a million miles an hour and also like 0.6 miles an hour at the same time. It's a really weird effect, but T-Mac does go round the outside in the end, round the left-hander, and the Rodin Carlin man ascends up into P9. But it means daylight as Adam Sanderson heartbreakingly peels into the pit lane. What it does mean, though, is daylight for the likes of Meraki, Razin, and Ricky.
It gives him an advantage, doesn't it? Because obviously Adam Sanderson is not in that fight now, but Adam Sanderson is going to hope there is a late safety car to really pull in the fight between these guys, because otherwise he's going to be in a spot of trouble. Usually, in most Creator Series races where we've done 100% F2 feature races, we've had safety cars right now. How many we've had? Zilch. Absolutely nothing. So how's that going to affect the driver's mentality? How is that going to affect the driver's strategy? Probably some people regretted being on those soft tyres at the start of the race, but people can't read minds. People can't predict when a safety car is going to come. They wish they could be more predictive as the weather could be right now, and I'm sure people hopefully are not affected with the bad weather happening at the moment. Behold, at the moment, Formula Kareem and Sasso leading P1 and 2, but they're still yet to box. Same with Emphatic and Matty D. Everyone from P4 downwards has done at least one stop, but will they get to the end of the race? That is another matter, and the gap, well, I'm just trying to figure the pit lane loss around it is quite massive around it. Ricky, I don't think he's going to lose that much time that we least expect. Ricky is doing not too bad of a job, but we know how Razin Chai is in race trim. Razin Chai is a beast. He wants to get a wet race win in F2, and he's doing everything he can to try and achieve that. He's going to use a slipstream from Ricky in towards T1. No DRS, of course, due to the wild card. Is he going to try and make the move stick? He is not. He decided to play it safe on this occasion.
There you go, although possibly an avenue opening up. Dives to the inside. Ever the opportunistic overlord is Razin Chai. Looks for the move past the Trident driver. Has to slot back into the slipstream once again. Potentially to set himself up for the inside line of the double right-hander. Sticks his nose in. Ricky leaves him just enough room to run side by side. Almost contact made. Now it's just got a nose ahead. Tried to run round the outside of the hairpin. Plant the Pirellis down into the bitumen. Hope you have the traction to make it stick. Still they remain side by side as they enter the right-hander. Again, the outside line will prove to pay dividends on the momentum front. Ricky could sign, seal and deliver it once again in this battle. Finally, he manages to stay ahead of Razin Chai, but they've lost a second just by running side by side. It's rapturous racing between the pair of them, but they can ill afford to fight too much because it will allow those hard tyre runners back into the game.
And if we get a safety car, then it's going to help them out even more. So Formula Kareem is probably praying to the safety car gods, saying he wants a safety car now, and that he'll be back in this one. I won't be surprised if Formula Kareem still gets a podium out of all of this. Let him win. He got P2 last week after starting last. He wants to try and take it better and win the feature race, just like the sprint race once more. But we can see the slipstream effect really starting to help some of our drivers. If you're not winning a car's lane of another car, then you're in a spot of bother in trying to gain quite a bit of time. Because see the Trident car down the inside of Big T Matt in towards turn number 1, but he doesn't make it look easy. We've got Big T Matt trying to go for the move once more. Through turn 3 and 4 they go, and look at that lovely, beautiful helicopter shot. Can we see the move being made? Yes, I think Watts just about had this one. But it's not over until it's over. There's still plenty of laps to start on this one. We don't know if any of these drivers are going to be making another stop yet in this race. And look at this. We've got Meraki racing Colapinto's car versus Noguera as well. Noguera's done fantastic in the F2 races this season when he's reserved for us as an F1 driver. It just shows he can race it in any car and do it well.
Kareem, by the way, out in front. We are halfway through this feature race here in Qatar. Formula Kareem with a 10-second gap to the next hard tyre runner. He's running riot on those tyres, but remember, these lot at the front have not pit. Neither has Zach Ossie or Pondon for that matter, but their race has gone less than swimmingly, unfortunately. And also, to mark an earlier point in this race, Safso's in. Safso already in with 15 laps to go. to pile on a set of soft tyres. That is a very bold call from the Invicta Virtuosi driver. Same for Matty D in the AIX car. They have put all their eggs into the soft tyre basket with 15 laps to go. That is, well, it's almightily bold and brave, but surely a bit too boisterous for my liking. Like I was saying, to allude to an earlier point, if we can't predict a pole sitter in a feature race win, they can't put all their eggs into a safety car basket. What Razin is doing, though, is putting all his eggs into taking the lead back of this race. Holds it round the outside of turn number 2. Once again, using the outside line. These two running side by side and then contact made. Once again, a shimmy and a shake from Ricky to keep it in a straight line. Razin ascends back to the provisional lead of this race, but again losing time to the race leader, Formula Karim, at this current point in time. Gap at the moment, just over 29 seconds.
And look at this, all of this fighting between these two, the trident of Ricky and Razin Chai as well in Paul Aron's car. It's allowing Meraki and Nogueira to just about get in this little slipstream train as well. So don't count those two for the win of this race and for a podium. They're just managing their tyres effectively. Meraki's always good at managing tyres around these tricky circuits, so definitely just watch out for him later on as the other drivers start to struggle a little bit with those worn tyres. And if they keep scobbling like that, as you were saying, the front two will, if the safety car comes out, the front two could come out and potentially still get in the lead of this one as well. Great to see quite a few of you watching. Sasso, on the other hand, still within 8 seconds, but lost quite a heap of time just by staying out for a little bit longer. But it's going to be a real bit of risk for him. Zach RC has got another penalty. He's got to be careful at this rate that it doesn't lead to a disqualification.
Quite right, 21 seconds now on the Prema driver's account, which means, well, come the end of this race, he'll actually be ending up in Abu Dhabi, probably. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Ricky and Razin still going hammer and tong. The high-tech driver had got the lead of the race. Now it's side by side again. Another shimmy and shake from Ricky. Meraki licking his lips at the prospect of possibly being enticed into the lead battle. Round the outside goes Ricky at the double right-hander. Had to drop the anchor and stop the potential of it last lap, but did it this lap. But Razin retaliates instantaneously, as now it's a drag race to the right-hander. Ricky on the inside line breaks as late as he damn well dares. Razin will still hold it with boldness and bravery, courage beyond the Call of Duty. Still keeps the nose in to the inside of the left-hander. They've lost another second to Formula Karim with all of this battling. Made that 2 seconds. 31 seconds now the gap. This race is opening up for the hard tyre runner in P1. Ricky takes the provisional lead of the race once again, but this could kill proceedings for the lead battle for the pair of them.
This could be interesting. Formula Karim is going to be like, you know what, keep battling. I'm going to get this one potentially. And Formula Karim, watch out for him. He's going to be rapidly fast on those soft tyres. He's been rapidly fast on those hard tyres earlier on. We'll see more time penalties like a madman at the moment. But we can see they just got to work together now. Maybe to try and overtake each other and just switch positions for the time being. But here they go. He's trying to go around the outside of Ricky in towards turn 1 and 2. Sasso saying the fast lap of the race. I think Meraki's trying to do exactly the same thing to Nogueira at the moment. Those two fighting line astern. It is 4 cars trying to gain as many positions as they can. But look, they're all within a slipstream train. This is absolutely crazy. Make sure you do not tune out because this has been a sensational feature race thus far. And you can see Razin trying to take the quickest line possible. And he does it with ease right now. What can Meraki do? Meraki probably in a good position in any of the front two of this train. Make a mistake, he can pounce. Same with Nogueira as well as they go through turns 8 and 9. Heading towards turn 10 very soon. And Zach RC has just got another 3-second penalty. We've got 12 laps to go of this feature race as we've got a yellow flag set to 1. And I don't know what's gone on there, but we got a Formula Karim into the pits, Carl. It's Formula Karim going into the pits. Where is he going to come out of in relation to his rivals? Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think he's going to still come out in the lead. Look at the gap that he's got.
Infratic into the pits as well. 31 seconds. It's definitely a big gap, but I think it might just not be enough. Ideally for him, he stays out ahead of Safso. Those soft tyres are about 2 seconds a lap faster, but we shall soon find out if Formula Karim's strategy has paid off. Towards the end of the pit lane he goes. Formula Karim is going to be right behind the lead battle as they're all still going side by side. As Formula Karim exits the pit lane, he is in P6. Within a hair's breadth of taking the lead of this one, has 5 cars between himself and the greatest prize of all in Qatar. Still, Razin and Ricky providing us some great racing. I'll tell you what, it's not doing them a world of favours in terms of the battle for the lead and ascertaining that they do stay ahead of the soft tyre runners. But it's the Creator Series. Just enjoy the ride. Feast your eyes upon pure grit and determination and the marvel of motor racing. Formula Karim immediately going to get to work on the soft tyres. They'll fire up in a heartbeat. 2 tyre compounds softer, looks to the outside, and then we'll do the switch back. It's child's play on those compounder tyres, on that softness of tyres. We'll have the outside line for the left-hander. Might even dare to do a switch back at this juncture. He's going to go for it, you know, on the new, fresh rubber. 2 tyre compounds in it, like I said, has the outside. Gwat slots in behind, and Formula Karim has already gained a place.
He had no answer there, does Gwat, and Karim taking candy for a baby and licking the stamp and sending it. He means business in Qatar. He has come to this race with one reason and one goal alone. He wants to win this race, and he wants to win it by a really good margin. But he's got a few cars to try and overtake first. First of which is no Guerra using the slipstream, using the toe, which is very powerful around it. But these guys have got to give it all they have got. We know those hard tyres won't last forever. All those hards get to the end of the race. We're going to have to wait and see through turn number 4 and 5. They go coming up at the moment. We're seeing penalties being applied for some of our drivers. That Garcia's gone to the wrong stratosphere in terms of penalties, let's just say. But Formula Karim is not going to give up. He's going to go for an audacious move. He's going to try and go for a move into the hairpin. He's going to try and do 2 into 1. Well, 2 into 1 didn't work, but one move did work for Formula Karim, and that was absolutely sensational for Karim to get past Nogueira. His next target now, Carl, is Meraki.
Look to the outside, then switch to the inside with full commitment. It's Formula Karim in full flow. Soft tyres. The Campos driver is in another continent compared to the rest of the drivers in terms of pace, largely owing to the tyres he's had, also largely owing to a fabulous first stint, which has put him in the prime position to take the win. Crowned the champion last time out in the entertainment capital. Certainly tonight the drivers have put on a sterling show, but the celebrations might have felt slightly muted and nullified for the Campos man. Not tonight. Not if he makes a statement of intent. Not if he makes a statement by winning this race by a landslide. He's got 11 laps. Make that 10 as they cross the line to fulfill that champion's destiny and crown himself correctly in his vision. Looks to try and make a move on Meraki. Just about makes it now as he dives down the inside. The amount of grip is absolute. You can't even write how much more grip he has. It's absolutely insane as he just runs rings round Ricky to take P2. And then all that's required, although Ricky putting up a decent fight in a straight line, but there's only so much he can do when the tyres are that much softer. Meraki's got through as well. He's gone through to P3, taking advantage of the charging Formula Karim, bending Ricky wide. Fantastic.
Meraki just took advantage there. He followed the line through, and that's really helped him get P3 in his race. I can tell Meraki is having a lot of fun, but Formula Karim has taken the lead from the race from Razin Chai, and that was insane. The move that he made there was hard for us to see in the commentary box, but my oh my, he is a man on a mission already. He pitted a few laps ago, and he's already in the lead of this race. We could see a last to first challenge right in front of our very eyes. This could be the fight for second place, as Nogueira, one of the contenders, has got a 3-second time penalty. That's huge for him in the context of this race.
It's going to send him... Well, it's an absolutely devastating scenario. Well, in the meantime, actually, Gwatz has caught up to this train as well. Safso's not far away from it either, as Kareem extends the gap to a second. Safso has got significantly older soft tyres, but equally has managed to mosey his way to the back of this train. We'll see what Infratic can do on his newer softs as well. As moves being made again, Nogueira and Meraki go into combat. As Meraki holds the outside line, Nogueira tried diving it down the inside for the most delightful outcome. Instead, he uses the outside line for an outstanding outcome instead. Lovely move from the ART driver. Kareem's got to get up the road. We saw about lap 8, lap 9, those soft tyres began to fall off. And so it might continue as Pondon has stayed staged well. He's had a moment again on the track. Formula Kareem, for the sake of hoping, will pray that he doesn't bring out a safety car as he manages to get past his stricken teammate. Through the right-hander he goes. That gap just keeps extending and extending.
He's fighting for his life. I made my predictions on what Kareem's going to do, and he seems to be reading my mind right now. And he's like, you know what, Jess, I will do exactly that and do it with ease. And he definitely do it with ease. If I tried to go for a move like what Kareem has done tonight, I would have struggled a little bit. He's doing all he can now to be able to win this one as well. And Mazanchai, bless him, he's still put up a valiant effort. He's led this race with Ricky for quite a long time. Meraki, by the way, and Nogueira fighting for position for their life. Actually, I believe it was a lapped car in the background. That explains why the camp. I thought that was Kareem having a bit of a moment, but no, it wasn't Kareem having a moment. It was Pondon, I believe, getting lapped.
Yeah, Kareem's just absolutely laid down the gauntlet in fastest laps as someone speared into the wall. Pondon has retired from this race, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We were waiting for one, albeit Pondon has brought out the safety car on lap number 24, so that completely neutralises everything, and, more to the point, allows the opportunity for everyone to come in for fresh, soft tyres. The equalisation process has begun. Infratic and Ultra Killer are the first ones to accept that request.
Don't forget though, if they use the soft compounded tyres already, which a lot of people have, they'll be using their softs from one-shot qualifying, which has a little bit of wear already. They only have 2 softs to play with, one in one-shot qualifying and one that they did in the race. So yeah, one-shot qualifying is going to be absolutely... Well, this race is going to be absolutely interesting with their one-shot quality tyres as well. They push the absolute limit on them, and they're going to try and see which has worked. Kareem, I think, would stay out. Potentially, some people will be trying to stick it out on those tyres because maybe it might not be much different. You never know. This brings everyone back into play for the win of this race. If you've got a penalty, you're pretty much screwed at this point for a potential win of this race or even a podium. If you've got no penalty, you're going to be in a... Well, if you've got no penalty, you've got a really, really great chance. I'm looking forward to hear your penalties on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. 3 seconds for Nogueira, Gwatz, Matty D. We've got 3 seconds for Adam Sanderson, 12 seconds for Ultra Killer. And I don't really want to say about Zach RC's. 24 seconds, mate. What you doing?
Well,
and we've got Sir Peters. We've got Mazanchai that's in, and unsurprisingly, Formula Kareem stays out.
Stays out, wants to track position. Surprised he didn't try and go in for another set of the softs just to make life a bit easier. But you know what? I think it's just another statement. Another one to tick off the bucket list for him. Do it on the older tyres as well. Really prove a point. 5-lap older soft tyres. That's going to be a mission for the Campos driver. Everybody flocking into the pit lane. Trident stacking line astern as Ricky gets the preferential treatment. Courtesy of him being first of the 2 drivers to enter the pit lane. Gwatz has got to wait an agonisingly long time. As well, I say most of the field are on the soft tyres. Matty D has decided the hard tyres are the way to go. Rather interestingly. So there you are. Lap number 25 of this Qatar feature race. Formula Kareem is your leader. Razin in second. Nogueira in third. Ricky in fourth. Meraki moves up to P5 with Safso in sixth. T-Mac 7th, Infratic up to 8th, Matty D in 9th, and Quat agonisingly just about exits the pit lane in front of Ultra Killer, down to P10.
Well, there's quite a few people that lost a few places out of that, but there was a few people that gained position out of that. This is going to be potentially a sprint to the finish, but we know how Bert Mylander's like. He probably may want to call another safety car just for the hell of it. As Formula Kareem is now on the back of the safety car, and this is going to be probably one of the most intense finishes you'll ever see around Qatar in the night, which looks absolutely beautiful on F1 24 in the Creator Series. I wonder if any of you has had your predictions changed since that safety car. I'm still keeping with my Formula Kareem prediction. I think he's still got this in the bag, but this, for Razin Chai, he's going to be on the pressure rubber. This could be his moment. He was fighting for the win for the entirety of the feature race so far. I think between Formula Kareem and Razin Chai, I think it could be either one of them, but don't count out Ricky or Meraki. It's one of those situations, Carl, where it's going to be absolutely unpredictable.
Couldn't agree more with you. It's going to be a very, very enticing end to this Qatar feature race, as the others, well, they mosey their way up to the back of the safety car, but they have practically been flooring it round the rest of the lap to make sure they get to the back of the safety car, which is not going to do their tyre life a world of favour. So perhaps that's partially what Formula Kareem is counting on. As we clock over to lap number 26 here at Losail, it's going to be a sprint race until the end of this one. Lots of rapturous racing to go, lots of fierce fights up and down the field. We have no doubt about that whatsoever. In the case of the prediction Prince over here, it's not gone well. The crown has been firmly shattered to pieces. Gwatz is P10. I'm sorry, I might have cursed your race, but my pole position prediction, Meraki, in P5, there's still time. Let me cook. The pot's slowly boiling. There's still time.
Well, technically, you predicted for pole, not the race to win.
We can edit it. We can edit it. It's fine.
No.
Anyway, look, the safety car is out. It's why Pondon crashed into the pit wall. So Bert Mylander could actually hear the crash and wake up. So rather smart from Pondon. I'm also just hearing from our producer, it was a steering failure for Pondon. Yeah, steering failure. Really unfortunate for the Campos driver. There was only one outcome, therefore, and also the only outcome after was a safety car. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. They are all beginning to form up line astern behind the Mercedes AMG. And soon enough, once the two Premier cars of Zach RC and Adam Sanderson make their way to the back, if indeed they do manage to make their way to the back of the queue, we will soon be back racing here in Losail.
I do remember in Silverstone, Adam Sanderson was hoping for a safety car. He got one and still managed to climb his way up through the field, but Adam Sanderson is not going to like that he's got that time penalty looming on his head at the moment. So I think that's going to put him at a huge disadvantage, of course, so we'll see what he could do as well. Emphatic, no time penalties. He has been here and there in this race. Let him cook potentially towards the final few laps. Some people just tend to do well in the final few laps a bit more when they've been put under this immense pressure to deliver, to get the results they needed. Top 15 in the Creator Series do score points, which means if you finish, you will be getting some nice points anyway thus far, but you want to be near the front. You want to be the ones with no penalties. Indeed, Sasso, I have to say, blown under the radar, but has been involved in defending for his life in this race, and he's done a superb job. He could be up there challenging for a podium too. It's going to be anyone's game. Let us know your thoughts in chat. Who do you think's got this in the bag? Who do you think can manage your tyres effectively? It's between Kareem and Razin Chai for me, but don't count out Ricky or Meraki.
Can Formula Kareem on significantly older soft tyres manage to defend his position and crown himself champion in what he feels like will be a much more fitting way? He was so close to doing it perfectly in the feature race in Vegas. A late safety car put him in the prime position for it as well. Ultimately, Alex Gillen prevailed on that day, but he's got a job to do. He is a man on a mission, but his main mission is making sure he, one, has the pace, and then two, can keep others behind. Zach RC has left the session, but he has actually managed to catch up to the back of the queue, as will the second Prema of Adam Sanderson. He's just moseying up to the back of proceedings. There he is in the background. Just going through the left-hander. We focus in on the Prema driver now. Just making his way through the left-hander. You've got to feel for Adam Sanderson in a way, really. Had that contact, the front wing damage early on. Extremely unfortunate, but that's the way the F2 Creator Series crumbles occasionally.
Safety car is in this
Speaking of
lap.
which, safety car in this lap. 5 laps to go to decide the race winner. Fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to be in for a wild ride on this one.
Right, how much am I charging you for a taxi to the end of this race? Only joking. Right, we are about to get going then. Kareem leads with significantly older tyres. Razin Chai in second. No Guerra in third, but he does have a time penalty. Who is going to be the one that prevails at the end of lap 32? We're about to find out. The safety car is in the pit lane. Formula Kareem could go when he wants to. Down the start-finish straight. Green flag. And he is at the perfect restart of dreams here in Qatar. So is no Guerra. He's chasing down Razin Chai for P2. But look at this. Ricky. Oh, between the two of them. Oh my God, there's a bit of damage for Ricky, I believe, in the background. That is absolutely huge. Big team Matt trying to make his way up as well. But Formula Kareem has been left for dust. Really, really good stuff. But a lot of chaos happening behind him.
Pulled the trigger just after the final corner. It was really smart from Kareem, and it almost played out to pure perfection. If Ricky had gone in a little bit too hot, well, especially extending from that, and sent Razin Chai into a slight spin, that would have really put the sword, the nail in the coffin on the victory. Pondon's left the session, steering failure, what can you do? I'm so sorry, mate. But through the right-hander, and then subsequently into this flowing section, before we enter the triple right-hander. Kareem keeping Razin at arm's reach. A slight lock-up, though, trying to get the best exit he can to provide the most marvellous momentum through the triple right. Still, the slipstream will do its work, and Razin has those newer tyres. Can put his trust and his faith a little bit more into that soft compound and just begin to etch closer and closer, as Infratic, who was a clean boy up to this point, now has a 3-second time penalty. And any hopes of inheriting a position up have gone up in smokes. To the start-finish straight we go. Razin will have the slipstream.
Yes, indeed. Razin Chai is going to do all he can. No DRS, remember. They're going to rely on pure pace and set-up skill in towards turn number 1. Can he do it with the fresher rubber? The answer to that is yes. Razin Chai takes the lead of the Qatar Grand Prix in the feature race. But Formula Kareem is not going to give up without a fight, trying to go around the outside potentially. And we also got Ricky in there as well. What? Has had another time penalty added to his name as well, and that's not going to help his race later on. So we've got Razin Chai from Kareem, from Ricky. Nope, it's no Guerra on the road down the inside. We've got Ricky trying to defend around the outside. Meraki in this as well. This is really nail-biting fighting. I wish this race went on for absolutely longer, but no, we can't. We only got a few more laps to go of this race, as we've got Ricky trying to attack for his life. Meraki can see in the helicopter cam, trying to follow him through.
No way.
And this is going to be insane if Formula Kareem can try and get the win from this race once again from Razin Chai. It'll be a really unconventional move, but through he goes. Formula Kareem with older tyres take the lead once again of the Qatar Grand Prix.
What a move. What a move round the outside. The question was asked by us whether we thought he would have the pure pace to keep up with Razin if he did indeed get past. He did indeed get past, and Formula Kareem answered our query very convincingly. Now has to duck to the inside though and break the slipstream. Not only has he got Razin to think about, DRS enabled. Sorry, get the memo, race control. We don't have that round here. He's got Ricky to worry about as well if he does not play his cards right. To the inside goes Razin Chai and trying to hold it round the outside on older tyres no less. Formula Kareem putting on a show, albeit in rather rampant circumstances. Ricky looks to the outside. I thought it was going to be 3 wide for a fleeting moment. Razin with the inside line. Surely will have it in his possession. No, he does not. Kareem still holds it. Will have the inside for the left-hand hairpin. Brake as Well, brake as late as you dare. Hold the inside. Blast the Pirellis into the bitumen. Hope that they don't scream for resuscitation. Kareem certainly will be. Razin's a significantly more life in them. Still they remain side by side. This is fantastic. For the lead of the race, with just 2.5 tours of the Losail circuit to go. Kareem has the inside line, Meraki has a 3-second time penalty. It's now going to be a drag race towards the triple right-hander. Slipstream from Kareem. He's lost the position to Raz and Chai. He's also lost it to Ricky. Opportunism from the pair of them has paid off. What racing with just 2 tours to go.
I could watch this for ages and someone in the chat saying, whoa, that is mad. And I have to say, I have to agree with you in the chat. Welcome to the Creator Series. For the first time, this is Slipstream and a half. But pretty much a lot of these drivers, it is a 4-way fight for the win of this race. With lap 31 of 32, 2 laps to go. Razichai can see the win in his sights, but Ricky in Formula Kareem is not going to give up. Ricky goes round the left-hand side through to turn 1 and 2. Can he hold his line as he heads towards turn 3 and 4? Well, the answer to that is, well, Razichai's going to defend for his life, and there was almost a bit of contact, but Ricky, the Williams driver in the F1 Creator Series, takes the lead away from Razichai, and I have to say, this has been fair racing, incredible. As we can see, the cab boss really struggling a little bit with those older tyres, maybe staying out. Was opportunistic, but unfortunately may have not worked out for him at the moment. You can see Raz and Chai just playing it tactically at the moment. There is Formula Kareem. I'm just going to sit back, relax, watch this fight go through. Meraki gets past, and let you, Carl, take us through this final half of this sensational race.
If my blood pressure doesn't boil over from all of this, that is. This is absolutely unbelievable. Completely unprecedented racing here in Qatar. If you ever wanted to know what the epitome of Creator Series F2 looks like, look no further. No DRS. Yes, that might have played a factor in all of this. Maybe even slightly bigger than we would have thought. But this is what you're so invested in. This is what we tune in for. This is what we dream of as commentators. Sitting here in the commentary box, watching some of the greatest racing you could ever feast your eyes upon. One final tour of the Losail circuit to decide the winner of this feature race. We got 5 cars line astern. Infratic has got up to P6 past Squats, by the way. Kudos to him. He's going through. Adam Sanderson's not done by any means either. He's up to P9. Might have penalties plastered next to his name. It might not have all gone his way, but he's putting on a show nonetheless. For the outer echelons of the top 10, Ricky and Razin will go into close quarters combat. Make that instantaneously as Razin goes down the inside. Ricky will hold the inside line for this hairpin corner. Kareem pushing the Trident car through the left-hander. It's been a champion's drive from Formula Kareem by all accounts, but it's going to be side-by-side slobber knocker between these two, Ricky and Razin, leaving no quarter, no stone unturned whatsoever. Keeping side-by-side through the left-hander. Kareem getting his popcorn out, wondering if there's an opportunity to snap up the victory at the last. To the right-hander, contact! Ricky's gone round. Razin surely has the victory in the bag. Meraki's taken P2, but Razin has slowed down as well. Kareem side by side with Nogueira. This is absolute carnage in the final few corners. Meraki wants to win on the track, but it looks like Razin could have it signed, sealed and delivered. But through the final corner, he defends successfully, but it's a drag race to the line. Meraki will take it on the track, but Razin rapturously wins the Qatar feature race. And Formula Kareem can, oh my gosh, Formula Kareem can hold his head so high with what was a drive against the odds in the final few laps. But behind, T-Mac out of absolutely nowhere takes third place to round out a phenomenal podium. What a spectacle here in Losail. What a spectacle.
Oh, I'm just lost for words. I think the chat is almost lost for words as well. The ones who have hardly got any penalties got rewarded for it. And that just shows if you keep it clean around Qatar, you get good results. And Razin Chai, well, he got pole, but he didn't make it look easy, and it wasn't a dominant one without any stretch of the imagination. Well done to him. Well done to everyone that took part today, and it's just been a fantastic night. It's been insane. No one would have known what could have happened, and it was the safety car that kind of changed everything, and everyone in the chat seems to be agree with us, I think.
Goodness gracious me. Well, a podium to savour, ladies and gentlemen. The ART, well, it's a high-tech, actually, my apologies. The high-tech, I don't even know what's real anymore. Lifting the trophy to the heavens. It was a drive heaven sent when all was said and done for Razin Chai. Ricky held it round the outside. Perhaps questions will be asked as to whether there was enough space left, whether Razin could have turned in a bit tighter. But they're racers. They don't want to leave any quarter. They leave it all on the track where they're heart on their sleeve. And Razin can hold his head high. Formula Karim, kudos to him for getting P2. 2 second places in feature races on the bounce. And rounding out the podium out of absolutely nowhere, T-Mac. Holy moly. Qatar, well done. We had the entertainment capital last week. Qatar, you did not disappoint. I was going to say, potentially save this for when Formula Karim did win the sprint race, if indeed he did. However, I will say it now. What a champion Formula Karim is. I don't think we alluded to it much last week, but I will now. His adaptability, astonishing. He has been in F2 and F1, proved his pace at every single level he could possibly hope to achieve. He has been ruthlessly consistent the entire season, arrived as a rookie and a reserve, but ran riot every single opportunity he was given. Started from the back, it was side quests from round 3, and yet the rest of the grid could only watch as he continued to blaze round and run rings round every single opponent in sight. What a champion. And once again, the reserves run riot, similar to last season. Kudos to Formula Karim. On the freight train, the goods he's picking up, more and more trophies to the collection. And now my poetry is done, and I will retire, because Shakespeare was clearly a lot more qualified. Back to the Qatar race. Holy moly. Where do you even start? Where does one begin? Because you can't ever summarise a spectacle like that.
There was just so much happening in this 100% race. There was just battles after penalties, after people crashing into a wall, wheels failing, causing a safety car. It was just manic, and people are wondering and always say to me, Jess, why do you like Qatar in F1 24 or any of the F1 games? It's because of action like that. The drivers love it, the commentators love it, and I'm sure you fans love it in the commentary box as well. We would like to hear, Carl, from our top 3 to see how they thought of this race.
We absolutely would. You know what? Let's start with our race winner, ladies and gentlemen. Left it late. It was a battle for the ages between himself and Ricky. But cometh the man, cometh the hour. He managed to get it over the line in first. Our first person into the commentary box. Razin Chai, congratulations on winning the feature race today. I'm lost for words. Jessica's lost for words. It was an absolutely manic race from minute 1. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm lost for words as well. I literally came to reserve last minute because I saw the numbers a bit low. Didn't do a single lap for practice. And I think I was going with the mentality of, even if I'm on pole or in a winning situation, I'm just going to bow everybody. I don't care about the win. And I think me and Ricky had like a crazy battle for so long over that race. Which obviously benefited Karim because Karim came out ahead before the safety car. But I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the battling, and it was unfortunate the ending with Ricky there, but hey, we had clean bars for a lot of race, and yeah, I was really tired to the line.
In terms of the tyre degradation around this circuit, how was it difficult to manage your tyres in this 100% race?
Oh yeah, for sure. The soft starting on, I think I boxed off on lap 8 or lap 9. I think I boxed on it was like 71% on my front left, but like a few other guys had better tyre wear, so they stayed out for longer. But yeah, it wasn't easy. The hards were a bit more easy to manage, but yeah, the softs were not fun.
How was it with the wild card today? Of course, no DRS, no extra assistance from the rear wing flap to be able to propel you along. Did it have a massively profound effect, or was Slipstream doing all the work really anyway?
No, I think it had a really good effect. I think quite a few of the guys were a bit skeptical before going into this race, just thinking, no DRS could be a bit boring. But generally, I think everybody was talking about afterwards. It was so much fun because in Qatar, the main overtaking opportunity is the back straight. It's such a long straight. It's the slam dunk overtaking if you've got DRS. So without it, you have to be a few tenths out of the corner. You have to make sure you've got a decent amount of wings as well, and you have to get a slipstream. And it's not easy to overtake them. You might have to go late on the brakes, and it provides like another tactical element. And it just also encourages more side-by-side battling in turn 1 rather than just overtaking someone before turn 1. So I think it delivered quite well for the racing generally.
I'm just trying to think of questions. I'm still lost for words with what's going on. And the final safety car, the only safety car that happened, of course, it eventually happened. Talk us through what was going on in that moment, fighting with the likes of Kareem and Ricky and Maki for the race win there, because it must have been very tight and very close. It was fun to watch in the commentary box, at least.
Oh yeah, it was very tight ending. I think because Karim stayed on all the tyres, he didn't box because he did donuts on his qualifying set of tyres, so they probably would have been worse off in tyre wear. So when I overtook it, my plan was just to, I couldn't run away with it anyways, but it was just more of like, I'm just going to encourage a battle if I can. So when I saw Ricky come by, I was like, well, we've had a battle the whole race, why not end it this way? So yeah, I enjoyed it. Just everybody was very clean today. There's a few bumper performances to some drivers, but it's all harsh but fair racing, and there was nothing outrageous, so I enjoyed it.
No, of course, it was absolute poetry emotion from minute 1. Razin, huge congratulations on a fabulous feature race win today.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
You too. Thank you. Well, there you go. P1 on the road has spoken, and I think he summarised everything we already thought, to be perfectly honest with you. If there are even words to express the thoughts. Absolutely unbelievable. Well, P1 is done and dusted. Next up, P2 on the road. Did donuts on his qualifying set, as Razin said, which might have hampered his progress slightly at the end. But even so, what a sensational show you put on, my friend. I feel like those battles must have been really satisfying, especially with the 6 at the end. Like, on those last few laps on those older tyres, being able to hold on and be in the battle. How was the feeling inside the car for you?
Oh, it was tense, man. It was fun, but it was tense. Like, obviously I had quite a bit more wear than the guys behind, so I was just trying to keep them behind. I was in a good spot, I feel like, and then when I saw Ricky get that 3 seconds and him in the lead, I was like, okay, this is my chance. I'm going to send it on Razin, get the win, easy dub. But yeah, I think he turned in on Razin a little bit. But as far as the battles go, it was fun. Like, you had to, how do I explain it? You had to battle hard, leave just enough space, and then also if you're on the outside, you have to try not to go off the track and get a track limits. Because I think a lot of people had a lot of warnings there, especially me. I think I had 2 at the end, so it's tricky to get positions without DRS and also keep it on the track, no warnings.
Honestly, I'm so glad you always do those last 2 challenges, because it's absolutely insane as well. Obviously, you stretch those gaps on those hard compounded tires. How did you manage it so well with those hards? Because surely it got to a point where it started to die off a little bit.
To be honest, I was saying to my chat, at first the hards were rubbish. I think just coming off the back of the sprint, you're driving like you're on soft tires. But just before I pitted, I was saying to my chat, if I could do the whole race on these tires, I would, because I don't know, they started biting like halfway through the stint, and then I could just be super consistent. And I think it was Ricky and Razin, they were like net P1, and they started on softs. They were barely gaining on me, and in the end they didn't gain anything because they were battling so hard. So the hards for me were actually quite a good tire.
There you go. The hard tyres, ladies and gentlemen, don't disappoint. Obviously, congratulations on the P2 in the feature race, but also congratulations for P1 in the sprint race. A very consistent week for you. Once again, I could go through the statistics again, but you'll be bored, so I won't. I think let's talk wildcard. Obviously, you had the 50-50 wings last week. This week, no DRS. Was the effect as profound as perhaps you might have thought?
Yeah. Obviously, with the setup, everyone's thinking, "Oh, should I go lower wings to try and get like my own sort of DRS on the straights, or do I go higher and just go for track position, get the overtakes done, and just pull away?" And I went for the higher downforce. I think most people did anyway, but it definitely made it harder to overtake. I'll say that much. But in my opinion, it was an overall W, just because track position meant so much more. Because you can't rely on DRS to get overtakes. Slipstream's not as strong in F2 anyway, so you just have to trust yourself and just go for moves wherever you can, and that's what made it fun, I think.
Absolutely.
I think that's all my questions, unless you have any, Carl.
I think you already kind of answered it for me, Kareem, in terms of did you approach it any differently because of the no DRS? Did you change the way you made moves? Already answered it, so I can't ask it now. But what I will ask is about the sprint race. Was there a game plan involved? Because I saw you sticking behind Pondon quite a lot. There was a large train of cars. I feel like you could have unleashed yourself and your pace a bit sooner. So was there a particular game plan in that sprint race for you?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it was pretty obvious that I was backing off. But yeah, there wasn't any game plan originally. It was just to, do my thing. But when I saw Pondon P1, my teammate, I had to do it for him. I had to try and get him the win, because he's not had an amazing season, and that chance, no DRS, Qatar had to overtake anyway.
It, Carl. You called it on stream. You said Kareem could be helping Pondon here.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I did a pretty good job for like 7-8 laps, and then he started getting slower, and I was like, okay, he's sort of backing. I'm still lifting and slowing down, and he's still backing me into Adam. So yeah, I think we went 3 or 4 wide at one point when it all started kicking off at first. But yeah, that was the game plan. I think he still finished P6, which is not bad, but yeah, I was hoping he'd at least finish on the podium.
No, it was an excellent show you put on. It's actually all the drivers put on, but especially yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, the F2 Creator Series champion, first and second in today's results, Formula Kareem. Huge congratulations.
Thank you, guys, and hope to see you in Abu Dhabi.
Brilliant.
Fingers
Well
crossed.
done today. Fingers crossed, absolutely.
All right, bye-bye.
See you later. Top man. There you go. I called it. I knew it. I knew there was something going on. I just didn't think he'd hold himself back. Maybe the Pondon dream will fulfill itself at some point.
Maybe
But it
next
didn't
week.
Absolutely. Maybe the next week in the final round in Abu Dhabi. Who knows? Finally, though, to our final podium dweller. And it arrived late, but better late than never. T-Mac, congratulations. Another Creator Series feature race podium for you.
Hello.
No, fantastic from you. Absolutely brilliant. First question is, I mean, there were manic battles up and down the field. Kind of, how was it for you in the cockpit, and how did you manage your race out there today?
Yeah, no, it was really challenging. Like through wide almost every lap, almost the whole way around. With my internet, it was a bit tough. I can't go. I got really jealous in the last few laps. Everyone was going side by side so perfectly, giving perfect amount of room. I had to back off a bit. I didn't want to cause a massive wreck. But yeah, so it was a bit tough, but it was good. It kept everyone close, so it was real fun.
Yeah, speaking of how close it was, you didn't have much time to practice with no DRS, of course. Kareem was talking about the adaptability of the cars as well. Did you change a bit of the setup to gain a bit of top line speed, or did you just keep the higher downforce like Qatar usually does?
Well, I went in thinking the straight line speed wouldn't have been as insane without the DRS. So I kept the high wings, and it was honestly a massive mistake. The guys that lowered their rear wing were rapid. I swear I was losing like half a second almost on some of those straights just because I had my rear wing all the way bumped up. I mean, I was really good in the corners, but what's good with being good in the corners when the straight's the main overtaking spot? But yeah, I went the wrong way, but it was interesting to think about.
No, of course, it comes with the territory of no DRS as well. By extension of that, did having no DRS this race, did it change the way you perhaps thought about executing some moves, perhaps being a bit more opportunistic with the way you went about things?
Yeah, it definitely made me think, like, especially with my higher wings, I think corners, honestly, almost easier to overtake in the braking zones, just catching someone off guard. With the straights, if you were the third man in the battle, it was impossible to even try. Even when you're second man in, you have to be so close to the guy in front. So you just have to any mistake from the guy in front, you just had to send it.
Yeah, I have to lick the stamp and send it, as someone would say as well. But heading, obviously, of course, into the final round at Abu Dhabi, what wild card would you hope it would be if you race, of course? And how are you going to cope with Abu Dhabi next week?
I really hope there would be a no rules F2 like we saw in Mexico and F1. But I don't think it's going to happen at Abu Dhabi. I think Abu Dhabi is not a good track for it. So I have genuinely no idea. But the wildcards this season for F2 have been pretty good, so I'm sure they'll make it fun.
Fantastic. We'll send you the invoice later. Thank you. I'm all exhausted on questions, honestly. I'm exhausted on words. The race was absolutely mad from start to finish. T-Mac, a huge congratulations. Your second feature race podium of the season. Huge well done to you, sir.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
Well done. Top man. Have a good rest of your evening. Well, there you go. The top three have spoken, ladies and gentlemen. And words fail us in the commentary box. I feel all of the pages of... Well, it feels like my internal thesaurus is completely eroded after that race. It's been absolutely immense. We have to now ask the question, though. We do have to stop the erosion process. We have to ask the question, Jessica. Who on earth do we give driver of the day to?
Honestly, Carl, I really don't know. There's been some incredible racing all throughout. I have two drivers in mind. Razanchai for winning the race and Ricky just keeping Razanchai honest. They've been battling for so long. I don't usually go for the race winner, but I am going to have to go for it, but just defending for his life throughout the entirety of the race and putting it on pole as well. I'm going to have to give it to Razanchai, but if you're going for someone else, we're going to have a little bit of a fight.
Yeah. It's tough, you know. It's really tough. In terms of putting on the show, everyone gets my driver of the day. No one disappointed today. Entertainment capital, sack it off. Don't need it. LaSalle put on all of the tricks you needed. Absolutely unbelievable. I would be inclined to agree. Razin or Ricky gets it for me. Ricky for just being a pest to Razin the entire race. He did not make life easy for him. And I love that. Ricky, I tip my hat off to you, sir, but you can't ignore the performance of Razin. Came in last minute, did the job he needed to do, did some great racing, provided some great content. I mean, he's right up there with the elect. Let us know what you all think, though. Let us know in the chat. Perhaps you have a different opinion. Perhaps you have a different opinion also on the social medias. Follow them. They're up above. F1 Creator Series on all of these platforms, on a YouTube and Instagram. Follow us there. Let us know who you think your driver of the day was. And also, be sure to tune in to Formula 1 tomorrow. Starting slightly earlier, I believe, just to make sure we can accommodate. 3 p.m, there you go. To accommodate real-life proceedings. And don't forget, there is WRC on the Monday as well. All the fun and games. But Jessica, where can we find you on an internet?
Okay, you can find me pretty much everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, X, on at JessGames95. I also commentate quite a few times. I have a league called One Hub Racing. We literally just finished, but you can see me now and again. We've got a fun little race we're doing on Sunday that I'm commentating on as well, so you can check us out on there. But what about you, Carl? What are your social medias?
That's a very good question. Well, let me tell you where you can't find me first. And where you can't find me is in Lithuania. You won't find me there. But where you can find me, ladies and gentlemen, you can find. I mean, my name's Carl Paranik. No one else really has my name. So if you type that in, you will probably find me there. I also upload on YouTube, not very often at the moment. I need to work on it. But I upload on a channel called Carl's Cards. So please go over there, enjoy all the chaos that's there as well. It's time to wrap it up. An evening of excellence here on the F2 Creator Series. That will be sure to continue tomorrow as well. Be sure to tune in at 3 p.m. It will not disappoint. So, all that's left to say is thank you all so much for watching. Again, follow the F1 Creator Series social medias. A big thank you to you, Jess. You've been an absolute superstar in co-coms today. And also a big thank you to the man pulling the strings in the background. The unseen hero that makes all of this buttery smooth, Mr. Monkey Matt. So, thank you, Mr. Monkey Matt. You are a superstar, my friend. Any closing thoughts for us, Jessica, before we head off?
Not really, apart from bring on Abby Dabby next week. I think we could have a crazy wild card here. I'm glad we don't know about it, but I'm expecting the wild card to be crazy next week. So stay tuned at 7:30 p.m. on Twitch next Friday for the final round of F2 Creator Series.
I'm looking forward to it. Jessica is, Matt is, and so should you. It's going to be a final race to savour. Until then, though, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye.